information about what I need to do to be a best man. I got a bit sidetracked on other websites, but I won't go into that. But what I did find out is that the best man speech should last about as long as it takes the groom to make love. So I'm way over. So here we are. It's August 15th, 2009. Rachel and John get married, for better, for worse, which is quite appropriate, really, because John couldn't have done any better, and Rachel couldn't have done any worse. And it's been a lovely day today. I think we'd all agree that. Shame the weather let us down a bit, but I'm sure John's not too unhappy with that, because knowing John, he's got a discount for a wet day or something. I'd like to thank Rachel and John for letting me be part of their special day, and I'm honoured, truly honoured, to be John's best man. I'd like to thank the bridesmaids. You look wonderful today, and the ushers, boys, you scrubbed up well as well. Trouble is, John's choices of ushers, they won't look that good for long, and you've been warned, everyone. Rachel, as always, looked beautiful today. I think you'll all agree she looked 1 in a million. As opposed to John, who looked like he was won in a raffle. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, in time-honoured tradition, I'll do the best man's thing of giving John the worst 5 minutes of his life. Oh, no. Which is only fair, because that's what he gives Rachel every time they go to bed. My first memory of John must have been when I was about 5 or 6 years old. He'd probably tell you I was about 18 or something, knowing him. But I was sat in my parents' driveway, playing with my toy cars, rolling them up and down. This cheeky chappy comes through the lane, of course, being John. What are you up to? And joined in, and the two of us then were playing with the car, rolling them up and down the drive, having a bit of fun. Little they know, about 10 years further down the line, we'd be doing the same, only this time in a real car. And John, didn't you reverse into a wall at one stage or something? Yeah, thanks for that.
After a slab of ball.
But as long as I can remember, John's always been there. And I can stand up here and tell you stories about this man all night. But I can see a lot of thirsty faces out there, so I could keep it short and snappy. I wouldn't tell most of the stories anyway, because I'd only incriminate myself. But I can't say that in my mother's eyes, everything I've done wrong has always been this man's fault. And, I'm glad that he's been happy to shoulder the blame for that. One thing that John has done is set me up with my girlfriend over there, Leanne. The jury is very much still out there whether I should thank him for that. Or, he might have been getting me back for something bad I'd done to him in the past. I'll move on now to something that no doubt all of you are familiar with, and that's one of John's many businesses or money-making scams. There's, of course, John the Carpenter, or as Fanny calls him, Tommy Walsh. And, I can see why.
Only 2 stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, the stairs.
I told not to mention the stairs. But I'm pleased to say John's now got a measuring tape, so the stairs won't happen again.
No,
I've also heard that John the Carpenter being described as the rhino. I didn't have a clue what that was on about, so I asked one of his previous customers, I said, why do you call him the rhino? He said, oh, because he's thick-skinned and he charges a lot. Over the years as well, we also had the ill-fated burger van, which then turned into a chicken hut, and I think it's in the scrapyard in the sky, you know. There was also a mini-bus business, I remember, which kept breaking down, didn't it, John?
voyage.
I won't mention the roofing business you set up when the girls were on the hen weekend. I think you've given up on that. But I think it's safe to say John is definitely the Alan Sugar of Mountain Ash. It's just a shame he couldn't have fired himself. I'll move on now to the happy couple. Rachel and John, as John mentioned, they met on a trampoline about 8 years ago. I only hope that the only ups and downs they experience now are under the sheets. Something we're late getting now. People have asked me what it is that Rachel sees in John, and I can honestly say I haven't got a clue. But what I can tell you, they're both kind, caring, perfectly suited, the best of friends, and clearly madly in love. They've also got a good sense of humour, which is obvious because, you know, they've married each other at the end of it. Obviously, I don't know Rachel as well as I know John, but what I can tell you about Rachel is what you all already know. And I lost my thought now. So you already know it, I don't need to say it. She's smart, bubbly, and just genuinely a lovely person. She got an infectious smile, and I even think, John, you've made that smile even bigger today. Yeah. And you know, you're perfectly suited, and you're perfect for each other. I asked Rachel last week when we were out for a meal, I said, what is it you're looking for at a marriage? She told me she's looking for love, happiness, and eventually a family. So, you know, last night, out with John for a couple of quiet drinks around the mount. And I asked John the same question. Without thinking about it, he quickly said, well, hopefully I'll get a new toaster. So John, I'm pleased to say I can make your day complete. Here's your toaster. Now, over the past few weeks now, John's been confiding in me, obviously. You know, he wanted to say a few words about Rachel. He just didn't know how to sort of put it down, and he sort of asked me for some advice. So I suggested, why didn't you write Rachel a poem? And you know, he loved that idea, and he got started on it straight away. But I'm disappointed there. He didn't use a poem in his speech there. So he must have had a change of heart, or he's saving it for later when they're together. But I'm pleased to say, I wouldn't want to take it away from you, ladies and gentlemen, John's creative genius. So when I was in his house earlier, I had a little rummage about, and I
found a poem.
I found this scrumpled up piece of paper down the side of the settee, and you can tell John wrote it 'cause it's in crayon. Look. Well, I think we'll call it John's poem. This is from the heart now, ladies and gentlemen, so, you know, tissues at the ready. So, thanks for this, John. Rachel, you were once a Payne, but now you're a Williams to remain. I've loved you from the first day, when you looked at my clothes and thought I was gay. You bounced to me, and I bounced back. I didn't much like it when you called me fat. You love my dance moves, yeah, they're pretty sharp, but they don't compare to my moves in the dark. I'm so lucky to have you every day, even if I don't listen to what you have to say. You make me smile when I feel down, by normally acting like a clown. If I had two thumbs, I'd give one to you. I'd give them both to you. But I've only got one, so that'll have to do. I love you, Rachel, and I always will. And now that we're married, you can get off the pill. Thanks, John. That was beautiful. Dylan Thomas, be proud of that. You'll be pleased to know now, ladies, I'll draw my speech to a close. Obviously, my toast today, you're going to focus on the most important people here today. The ones that, without who today just wouldn't be possible. At some stage this evening, I'm sure we'll all be sharing with them our love and our best wishes. And you know, just sharing our thoughts on this special day. So, ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in a toast to the bar staff? Now for the real reason, real version. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today and just making Rachel and John's wedding such a special and memorable occasion. And again, I'd like to thank them both for allowing me to be such a big part of this special day. And I know that if John looks after Rachel, like he's looked after me and the boys over the past few years, well, my past life really, then it'll be the happiest couple ever. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Bongle, will you please raise your glasses and join me in a toast to the bride and groom. Hey!
the